Minnesota!
He's one of a kind, longtime friend, Lou Michaels.
Glad to be here, John. Always a pleasure. My superhero, the guy that taught me a lot of things about a lot of things. And hey, like you said, let's have some fun while we're doing the sun, baby. It's all rock and roll time. Let's go.
Lou is known as the photo guy because he's been in photography for a long time. How long have you been a photographer?
This is my 52nd year as a pro photographer, and I love it. My granddaughter, Alexandra, always said to me, she said, "When are you going to give it up, Papa?" I said, "When it becomes a job." This isn't a job, it's a love affair. I mean, where can you go anywhere in the country, take your cameras, enjoy life, enjoy the outdoors, enjoy sports, political. Hey, the money ain't the thing, it's the pictures that make the thing. So I've enjoyed 50 years of this. I mean, you know, people get into a job, they stay there for 40 years, they come out, they sit around, they mope, they cry, they do this and do that, and then all of a sudden they disappear. And with me, I got to tell you, it's been the greatest experience in the world for me. I mean, you're my superhero. I knew you in Detroit.
Yes.
And you know, you're talking about me, but just one thing in general. You were the man for NFL football, Sable, sports, the Lions. I'll tell you, if I needed a mentor, you're the person. You've always been very gracious to me here in the Twin Cities and back in my hometown, Detroit. You're my superhero, John, and I'm just so thrilled to be here, you know?
Well, I'm thrilled that you're here. Success is finding a job you do for nothing, and then find a way to get paid for it. I never felt it was like work, and I think you felt the same way. And working at Channel 5 for 17 years, I ran into Lou lots of times at high school football games. What was it like shooting high school football games for you?
Oh, what a thrill. I mean, yeah, high school football, I've done college. I mean, just to see the athletes and just to see the coaches, may it be football or basketball or baseball, to see these young women and young men playing the sports and enjoying what they're doing and trying to carve out a career for themselves, maybe it in sports, academia, or whatever. To me, it's, like I said, John, 50 years. Money's important because you have to pay certain things, but the joy of going every place, everywhere, and meeting so many different people, and enjoying working with the newspapers that I have worked with, and like I said, it's been a love affair, and that's all I can say, really. It's just been dynamite.
Where have your pictures been posted?
Well, let's see. I've had posted in the Villager up in St. Paul, EMC papers out in the Northeast, Northwest. I've even had some pictures up in Canada, the Ottawa News, Toronto, all over the place. I do some volunteer work for the St. Paul Fire Department. I did a program for the St. Paul Library that's still around. I photographed all their libraries. What a disaster. I mean, it wasn't a disaster. They needed this in a particular situation. You know, it's a time frame kind of thing, just like in your media when you were working, a time frame. And I had 3 weeks to do it, and I did it in about 4 days, and it was crazy. I mean, you know, they have about 12 different libraries, 13 different libraries in St. Paul, so you had to go from point A to point B. You had to get a contact, but it was fun. I mean, I got a chance to meet all the librarians from the different libraries. Had a lot of fun. It was enjoyable. But you know, time frame is time frame, and you have to do what you have to do. And basically, it is what it is. So.
I did a story on Lou when I worked at Channel 5 KSTP. Here's the kicker. He used to weigh 600 pounds. Is that a true story?
That is a very true story. Going back in 2000, at that point, I was 600 pounds, 600 plus in that general area. I just felt very, well, I was into a marriage, and the young lady passed away, and I went into a deep depression. And I would go to White Castle or McDonald's or what was available. White Castle, every other day I would sit down and have 10 or 15 White Castles, better known as the Great Sliders, 4 to 5 bags of French fries, a couple of Cokes. I just wanted to die. And eventually I met another young woman, and we got married. She got involved trying to get me back into humanity again. And Dr. Bill Rupp, who is now retired from United Hospital, he was the innovator, or one of the innovators of bariatric surgery. And that was a whole psychological thing. And he saved my life, and I went from March 1st of 2000, as you said, 600 pounds. By October of that year, 169 pounds. That was a great loss. It's a huge loss. And then the year later, I had a Roux-en-Y where they take it from your stomach and from your large intestines into your small intestines, so you don't eat as much. And I, myself personally, I thank Dr. Bill and the people that were involved at United. They truly saved my life. And the lady that I was married to, we're divorced now. But,
I remember when we did a pre-interview, and I was talking to him. He had been to a Wild game, and he came and he had food all over his shirt. And we just started to chat, and I knew right then we had not only a story, but an amazing story. And I really think it is. And what happened because of having that surgery with the teeth? I see you don't have any teeth.
There were some problems that arose because of overweight and different things and elements that caused decay and that kind of stuff. I lost my teeth, and
all of them?
Every one of them, yes. I forgot the doctor who did the surgery, but she said if you didn't, that would be another problem. You'd have probably major problems, and so we took them out. I had false teeth, and I hated them. I just hated them. And I can eat steak better now than I did with my teeth, and that's hilarious. I mean, steak and whatever else, and like you said, there's only one Lou Michaels, and all my buddies, we have coffee at McDonald's on Rice Street in St. Paul every morning. That's been going on for 50 years at different locations, and I've been involved with them for 20. Greatest bunch of guys you ever wanted to see. It's just, every day is a new story. We talk about this, we talk about that.
Lou, how grateful are you for where you are now in your life and that you've reached this far? What are some of your goals now at 75 now?
Yeah, I turned 75 in November. I would certainly, I think I've done just about everything I accomplished. I'm remarried, got a very nice wife, Tamara Michaels. She's my, what would you call it, my dream queen, I guess. And she's been with me for the last 12 years. We've done many things together. In fact, one of the things was I got involved, if I can say that, it's one of my neatest experiences with the St. Paul Winter Carnival. I happened to have the opportunity in 2015 to be given the opportunity of being King Winter the 57th. It's an equivalent to Voreus for the...
You were named that?
Yes, I have my coat. I wear that proudly. I was Prime Minister in 2010, 2013. Gary Fink and Peggy Anfang was my queen. Jackie Whitner and Dave Purcell was my king and queen in 13. And I got an opportunity in 15 to be involved with the Senior Winter Carnival as King Winter. And Lee Shovel, who just passed away a few months ago, was my queen. I'll tell you, if you have an opportunity, I should get you involved in that, John, but you're in so many other things. I think you'd make a great prime minister. Prime Minister John Gross, the man of the hour, the Dadas of Dudas, the Otis of Itis, or whatever.
Lou, you're here because you're the photo guy.
Yes.
How many pictures do you think you've taken in those 50 years? It's been thousands and thousands and
Oh,
thousands.
beyond that, I would have to say between the old days with shooting with film and now with digital for the last 15 years, I would have to say close to 5 million pictures, literally.
How do you, now, this is where this might help some people,
Right.
wives and husbands, who want to take a picture of their son or daughter in a sport, soccer, baseball, football. Here's a guy that has been a photographer for 50 years. What are some key tips on how to be a photographer for someone who has never been a photographer? What do you do? What kind of equipment do you start with?
Well, it's basically very simple. You have we have Canon and Nikon and Pentax and Sony and those are the major big 5 or 6 and of course Fuji. You have to feel comfortable. You have to go into either a national camera or West Photo, which is in the area here, and talk to these people that are salespeople and find out what you like and what you don't like. I mean, you get an opportunity to feel the camera, look at the camera, see what it does and how it works. I tell people, I had a class before we moved at our senior place. Every week we had about 30 people show up and we talked about photography and they asked questions about what camera would feel comfortable for me or you. In my years of experience, and I know a lot of the photographers, the female part of and the males who work in our industry, Nikon seems to be a real great camera for women. It's built for a woman's hand because they say it's comfortable. I've had gals that I've known from major papers here in the Twin Cities that have had Canon. And, when you have a smaller hand and you got a camera that weighs almost 2 pounds and then you add a lens or 70 to 200, it even becomes bigger. And then we go to tripods and monopods. I just tell people, find out what is comfortable for you, what you like. Now everything is mirrorless.
What does that mean?
There's no mirror in the camera. It's just shutter free. It comes across the shutter. It's there. It's SD cards now. When I was in it, we had compact flash. Now we have compact flash and SD cards and micro SD cards. And cameras went from, I remember my first digital was a Canon, and it was a 10D, and it was 6.3 megapixel. Now one of my cameras here that's sitting here, it's almost 20 megapixel. I mean, it's as broad as it is wide. And why you do that is because, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to blow it up to a wall size? Are you going to use it to put it into a frame, 8x10, 5x7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see your camera.
Yes, sir.
So that is what kind of a camera?
This is a 60D. They've now gone to 70D and an 80D. This you can do video and also regular photography. So,
Really? How much does a camera like that cost?
This is when it was brand new, close to about $1,200.
Right.
I have other ones that cost about $3,000. And I always wanted to get into video, and you always told me, true story. John said many, many years ago that because I have the eye, I don't know if I have the eye or not, but he says if you had the eye in photography, it becomes very simple in E&G work, video, because you have 2 things done. You know how to white balance, and instead of 5 frames a second, you're going boom, 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 a frame a second, I think, in video. I'm just getting into this in the video end, but it seems to be fun, and I can see why you've been so successful in your career too.
Now, back to cameras.
Yes, sir.
And parents shooting, videotaping their children.
Mm-hmm.
Can they go and buy a $100 camera and still get pictures? I say yes, if you know how to be a photographer, where to be on the field, how to focus in on what's important.
Well, as a pro photographer, and I've shot all kinds of sports, political kind of things, and I've had a couple young folks that have come out with me just to see what was going on from their high school papers. And they say, what's the most important down? I said, the most important down is third down. Because in high school, you're either going to run or you're going to pass, or pass or run. But that third down is the most important, and you got to find out where. If he's on that far side of the field to the left side, if you're going north and south, he'd be on the east side of the field, and they're coming to
Yes.
score. Well, you know he's either going to run or throw a pass, so you try to get that right. Hopefully, that angle so you can catch that. So I've been wrong a few times, but about 85% right and about 15% wrong. But and if you're just going into it, put it on program and let it do it for you. You know, they have program on here, and it's easy. I mean, if you've never been a photographer, $100 camera, listen, it's all in the eyes of the beholder. And don't chop heads off, don't chop feet off.
Oh, that's a great point. What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, I've noticed one of my classes that I teach, where I was at the Wilder Park condominium every week, couple of ladies came in and they said they were trying to take a picture of their granddaughter, and they said, "Lou, can I show you a picture?" Well, it's a beautiful picture, but she chopped her granddaughter's head off, or the feet, and you gotta look at perspective when you're doing this. You put the camera up before you start shooting. Get your subject hopefully in the middle of the viewfinder that you're looking at, and just press. You know, but she said, "Oh, my granddaughter was very upset," or my grandson. I said, "Well," and she happened to be a former federal judge who retired. So I said, "Vanessa, don't worry about it. I'm not being critical, but I'm just giving you some points."
Is this embedded in you now after so many years? And are you helping youngsters? Are you helping young people make their dreams come true?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's important that the young people, regardless of what field they go into, you need a mentor. And mentoring is a very, very important part. Well, as I said in the beginning of this program, you were my mentor, and I really mean that, John. There were some photographers that I had a great respect for, and you were one of them. I mean, your style, your grace, you've been in the game a long time too, and you helped me get into the MPPA, National Press. I just got inducted into the National Press Club, which I'm very, very happy. People ask me, "You got to buy into that?" I said, "There's no buying into that program. It's like getting an Academy Award." This back in March of 2017, I was honored by the city of St. Paul resolution for 50 years of shooting pictures, and I was very, very proud of that. That I had an opportunity to do pictures for many, many years, 50 years. I've done stuff for the city. I'm a volunteer for the fire department. I haven't shot a lot of the fires, but a few, more than a few. I'm up on during session up at the Capitol and do my job there for some of the newspapers. I have a website called LouThePhotoGuy.com, so you can go up there.
What's on there?
Everything. We try to do a couple stories a week. I just got done doing a story called Your Legislature that airs on St. Paul Neighborhood Network about the legislatures during the session and who they are and where they are, what party they are, and what's happening up at the Capitol. I've done a lot of stuff for the American Legion, VFW, Jewish war veterans, all kinds of things. And I try to do a couple stories a week. I'm the only guy, so it makes it pretty tough to go from point A to point B. I have a email called LouThePhotoGuy@gmail.com. So if you want a story done, just email me, LouThePhotoGuy@gmail.com, and see what we can do. And basically. So.
How many days a week do you work?
Just depends. Last week I worked 6 days. This week I work. It started Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Got a job today, 2 jobs after being on television with you. And then tomorrow, off day. And then Friday I have basketball. And then Saturday I get the opportunity not only for our coronation for the senior royalty, I get a chance to take pictures of that too. That will appear on the Winter Carnival's website. So, you know, it's been a love affair. What else do you say? You know, it's just, it is what it is. And every day is just, you know, you get up and say, where am I going today? Well, first thing I do, I try is I go and have coffee with the guys, you know, and we talk about that. And then whatever assignment I get from newspapers, I've done work, like I said, a Villager, Community Reporter, EMC, the Minnesota Spokesman, Recorder. Great bunch of people. Every place that I've worked with, they're so easy to work with. They tell you what you want done. They say, well, we'd like to have it in a week. Well, I don't do that. I'll shoot the job in the morning, afternoon, and they'll have it that night. And hopefully they like what you pick, and you send them 10 or 15 pictures and let them decide what they want. You know. So
Talk about being retired. It's not even in the frame. You're not even thinking about that. You're too busy having fun.
Fun. Oh, fun. Best part, you're talking fun, is I get this is going to be my 25th or 26th year shooting St. Paul Saints. Love it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I started in 1993. I don't shoot for them, but I've shot for newspapers, and it'll be my 26th or 27th season. I get a chance to enjoy the piglet that goes up to be the mascot of the St. Paul Saints, and Madonna and everybody else. The cast of characters are just phenomenal. And just to watch the people, I mean, where can you go and watch a ball game and get a massage? Or get a haircut?
Yes.
Or get a chance to see Lou the photo guy. People say, hi Lou, how are you? And,
Really?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden there's a gal, she's called the Candy Lady. And I like Dad's root beer. They come in little, look like root beer, and you get them over at Fleet Farm. So every time she sees me, she gives me a bag. She says, here you go. This is your pay from the Candy Lady. It's hilarious. I mean, as you said, fun is good. Good is fun. And where can you have so much fun as the St. Paul Saints and the other sports venues that are in this town? Certainly coming. In March, we have the Loons, who are the soccer team, and that new stadium, which is absolutely gorgeous. Dr. Bill McGuire, he is the man, the blessing. I mean, the man. I mean, he had a vision. Boy, you should see it now. The vision is reality.
I worked at Channel 5 for 17 years and could not believe the number of celebrities that I met. How about you? What are some of the top celebrities that you met that made an impact in your life?
One of the greatest celebrities I did meet was the senior open that was held out at Bunker Hill.
Yes.
Arnie Palmer. Great story. He's out on the practice green, just practicing with some of his colleagues. I would say 20 years ago, a little bit longer. And I'm out there, and I'm the only photographer, and he's out on just putting on the practice, just putting, and all of a sudden he misses. It rolls around and goes off. Woman comes up from behind and puts a dunce cap on his head. It was his teacher from many years ago, and I got a shot of that. I'm the only kind of.
No way.
Yes, yeah.
I thought Arnie was phenomenal when I met him. His career was over, and Channel 5 wanted me to do an interview, so I go out there, and there he is sitting down outside, and I went up and put my hand out and introduced myself. Arnie, could I please get an interview? Sure.
Yeah.
And he got up, and we did a 4 or 5 minute interview. We got done, and he took his hand and went like this.
Right.
That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, and looked in my eyes.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. You know what he did? He made me feel important. What a guy. What an interview. He was amazing.
Oh, yeah. He truly was the man who set him and Jack Nicholson on golf where it was and where it is today. I mean, just a dynamite kind of guy. Arnie's Army. I mean, you could go anywhere where there was a major golf tournament, and they were there. Thousands and hundreds and God knows what. And to me, celebrities are just people. What makes them celebrities? They work their hiney off over the years. Maybe be actors or actresses, baseball players, politicians, whatever. We're still humanality. We're still people. We put them in that category, and they become celebrities. May they be Hollywood celebrities, males, females, baseball players, football players. When it comes down to it, we're still people. And, people, when I go to someone, hey, Lou the photo guy. Lou, it's like I have my own little, and I really mean that. It makes me, it makes me feel good. And I always ask people, how's my work? I finally realized if they didn't like it, they would tell me. And people have been up to my website, louthephotoguy.com, and they like it. I followed one of your things that you said. You only get one chance, and do it right, because with film, there was one chance. When I was doing that, I met you in Detroit. Like I said, you're my hero, man. You're my, hey, like having an uncle. I don't know. I'm ready to cry here because you meant so much to me, John, and I mean that seriously. I meet a lot of the guys from Channel 5, and I always say hi to John. You said that. They always say, hey, Lou said hi, and, and I thank my colleagues for being there. We're all in the game together, and regardless if you're doing football or you're doing political or you're doing this or doing that, we're all fraternity brothers and sisters, and to me, it means a lot because you learn so much from other people's views and opinions that are in your craft, and it means something important to me because you can only, you could get worse, but you certainly can get better. This is my passion here. This is my pulpit. What I shoot, that's what you do. They talk about Photoshop or Picasso. Hey, you can make it better, but the only way is you got to know what you're doing and what you see in the lens and you shoot. That's it. Why paint it up and this and that? It's reality. You have Photoshop and people want to do their face and this and that changes it. That's not a photo. That's it is what it is. And like I have a great respect for John Waddell, who's the editor for The Villager, and Dale Meschke, who is one of the editors and one of the owners. And they've been very gracious to me, the community reporter, Dayton Bluffs Forum, I shoot for them on the east side. Those people work very hard, day in and day out. And I respect them because they tell me what they want. I go out and do it. Like I said, I try to do a story a week. It was real funny. One of my friends told me, you shoot pictures. Why don't you throw a little story on there, a little blog? So I said, okay. So it's not only has it been great shooting pictures, it's been great just doing little blogs. And I think you've been up to my site.
A lot, yes. Especially just before this, it's a great site. Lou, you are amazing. You always have been. You've been a long-time good friend, and I learned a lot from you today, and I hope you liked the interview too. Lou, thank you for being here.
My pleasure, John, and thank you again, and thank you to having you as a friend, as a mentor. You meant a lot to me, John, and I mean it. God bless you. Have a great year, and as I say, what you look through the lens, hopefully you got it. If you don't, it's all black, everybody.
Thanks for watching. I'm John Gross. Lou, the photo guy.
Minnesota!